You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey B&B fans, it's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we are going to talk about how Hope Logan could steal Thomas Forrester away from Paris Buckingham in 5 easy steps, as a matter of fact. And we're also going to talk about whether Paris and Thomas make it all the way to the altar. Is a Thope reunion ahead, or is he about to be blissfully married to another woman? We're going to dive into that, but if you're not following us, we'd love it if you'd hit subscribe. And if you hear some background noise today, it's because I am podcasting on the road. I am traveling, so not in my quiet studio at home. So I apologize in advance if you hear any noise. So I just want to address something real quick. There's a lot of talk about Diamond White making a rapid exit as Paris because of an Instagram story she posted a few weeks ago. It's gone now because stories disappear after 24 hours, if you didn't know that. And it was her in what seems to be a backstage area of some set. And she captioned it, "That's a wrap." And here's the photo so you can see it. This was posted, though, almost a month ago. And since there's a 4 to 5 week tape to air delay, the timeline doesn't align with her announcing she has wrapped at Bold already. It doesn't line up. And there's no indication from looking at the photo, and you guys can pause and look at it, that it's behind the scenes at CBS Daytime. There's none of the usual stuff that you see behind you that's very recognizably BTS at B&B, so we'll see. Diamond does have a bunch of other projects in the works, so I suspect it was her wrapping the project she did right before she came back to Bold to shoot. That being said, I firmly believe we're on a slow burn to a Thope reunion, and so here's how I think Hope Logan can steal Thomas from Paris. It's a 5-point plan. All right, number 1, Hope needs to tell Thomas how much she loves him and how long she has loved him. The very first issue to address, I think, is the whole "I love you" debacle. I think things might not have blown up at that second proposal, or not blown up as bad, if Hope had been honest with Thomas way before he asked her to marry him again. She kept saying, "I love the way you love me, and I love the way and I love this about him," but she never told Thomas, "I love you," until she said no to his proposal and he said, "We're done," and he stood up to walk out on her. If she had been telling him all along when she fell for him, if she had told him the truth about loving him, he might not have even proposed because he would have felt more secure in their relationship. And if she really loves him, Hope should know that she waited way too long to let him know she reciprocated his feelings. If she doesn't love him, then Hope needs to let him go. And if she does love him, then she should probably clear it up. Tell him, "I've loved you since, whatever time or event she recalls realizing she loved him," and explain why she never said it sooner, whether it was fear or whatever that kept her from telling him how she really felt. The second thing, I think Hope needs to propose to Thomas. Thomas has made it clear he wants to be a married man. And again, if Hope doesn't want to marry him, that's fine, but she shouldn't stand in the way of him marrying someone else, someone who wants to be his wife. But, I just don't see Thomas asking her to marry him for a third time. And Paris is definitely trying to mess up his engagement. And I don't think he should open himself up to that sort of emotional pain and potential for rejection. If Hope wants him to be hers again, she needs to make it happen. And that means proposing to him, telling him she wants to be his wife, accepting a ring, putting it proudly on her finger, not on a chain around her neck. Ironically, Hope kept Thomas dangling the same way she kept his ring dangling around her neck for months. The third thing, I think Hope needs to tell Thomas she wants to have his baby. In addition to marriage, Thomas wants a baby, another sibling for Douglas. He and Paris are already talking about making a spawn of their own, so Hope needs to address this desire of his if she wants to compete with his current fiancée, Paris. Now, Hope doesn't know it, But Thomas doesn't know, but Hope was already talking about making babies, and she hinted she wanted one with Thomas. The problem is she never told Thomas that. In fact, it was Liam Spencer that she told during one of their nasty breakup arguments. She told Liam she wanted another child, and he asked with Thomas very derisively, and she said something like, well, certainly not with you. Now she needs to tell Thomas she wants a child with him. The fourth thing, and I think this is very important, is that Hope needs to give Thomas a firm timeline on when marriage and babies can happen. In addition to proposing and offering marriage and a baby, offering what Thomas wants, Hope needs to tell him when these things can happen. She said she's not ready to get married again, but she owes him something if she wants him back in her life. And I think part of what she owes him is a timeline, telling him, okay, I'll be ready to get married in 6 months or a year. And then after we get married, I'll be ready to start a family within 6 months to a year of that. That would probably be enough to satisfy him. It's just so Thomas knows things are heading in the direction he wants his life to go, rather than everything being on her terms and him not getting any of the things he wants and needs. And the fifth and final thing, I think Hope needs to do more showing and less telling. In the end, what it is that I think Hope Logan needs to do is to show Thomas Forrester she loves him, wants to be with him forever, and wants him to be a father to any other babies she has, if that is truly what she wants. But of course, she can say words all day. Words are easy, but showing up for someone every day in the way they need you to me, is just as important as the words, if not more important, because anyone can say anything. Like Hope not telling Thomas she loved him until it was too late. And if Hope doesn't figure this out, it will really be too late, because this week, after Hope begs Thomas to come back to her, he tells her no. Then Paris tells her basically, get your hands off my man. And by the end of this week, the Forresters are toasting the upcoming marriage of Paris to Thomas during their July 4th party. I do think we're going to see Paris with Thomas all the way up until their wedding. I don't see them getting all the way to I do and man and wife, though. I'm feeling like Hope might have some sort of incident that triggers Thomas to run back to her. That remains to be seen. But I do anticipate several more weeks of Thomas and Paris doing lovey-dovey stuff during July sweeps up until their planned walk down the aisle. But I do also suspect that Thope is the endgame plan. So what do you think? Do you want to see Thomas with Hope or with Paris? Of course, we'll have to wait and see. They never keep Diamond White around too long, and Paris has never had a decent storyline, just period, much less a solid romance on the CBS soap. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I feel like that they do a disservice to their Black characters and don't give them enough front burner storylines, and that they don't write well enough for them. And it's a real shame, because they've got some top-notch talent. Let me know what you think and where you want to see Thomas go from here, who you want to see him with. Drop your comments. If you're not following us, we would love it if you click subscribe so you don't miss any of our updates. And as always, be sure and come back often. We are here talking Bold and the Beautiful 7 days a week with me, Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.